Good afternoon, everyone. This our lesson for today is in relation with our discussion last time, which is the SQL and the advanced SQL. Ano pa? Basically, we already have discussed the transaction, but then again, we'll be having the uh, transaction deeper discussion. So, as we said, the transaction is a sequence of SQL statements that um, treats the Oracle or the SQL or my PHP admin as a single unit of work. So meaning nagkakaroon siya ng sarili niyang transact with uh, one database or from one file to another. So it must be committed or a rollback. So what's the difference between the two? So meaning it makes the permanent of the database changes you made during the transaction. So yun yung commit. Permanent yung ginawa mong changes kapag ginamit mo ay commit. Kapag rollback naman, of course, sabi nga natin, it ends the transaction or parang moving on dun sa parang inend niya tapos ay babalik ulit dun sa sa dating state of the program. So, we check the commit settings in the client tool. Halimbawa, the auto commit, the exit commit in the SQL. The undo table space, which is in circular buffer. The record, and it also records all the transactions or actions of the transactions and used when rolling back the transaction. What's the difference between commit and rollback? As we can say, or as we said, commit is a transaction control language in SQL, and it lets a user permanently save all the changes made in the transaction in the database or the table. As I is discussed a while ago, sabi ko nga, when we say commit, kapag ginamit natin yung commit sa atin pong command, ibig sabihin po nun, the transaction that we have made is already permanent. Hindi na siya, kumbaga yung changes na ginawa natin is permanent na. Halimbawa, binago mo na yung field. So, yun, mababago na rin siya all throughout. When we say rollback, the transaction control in SQL, it lets the user to undo those transactions that aren't saved yet. So, kaya nga sabi rollback, ibinabalik niya kasi hindi pa siya nasi-save. And one can make use of this command if they wish to undo any changes or alterations since the execution of the last commit. So these are the difference between the rollback and commit in SQL. So this is the basic definition. We already have discussed the definition. The condition of transaction, sabi nga natin, once you let the commit command, it completely execute the current transaction. Meaning you cannot undo, wala nang balikan, and get back to its previous state or anyway. Kapag rollback naman, it can assist a user to get a command back to its previous state. So these are the syntax, commit and rollback. For the successful execution, if the one executes or the statements it's successfully with no error, then the commit command will finally save to the current state attained there. Kapag naman sa operation, if the operation fails dun sa ating rollback, while completing a transaction, then it shows that the execution of all the changes is not successful. So in that case, we can easily undo the rollback command. For the occurrence, once na ginamit natin si commit statement after the successful completion of the intended transaction. So, ito naman si rollback, one uses that rollback statement after the transaction is unsuccessful due to abortion, incorrect execution, the power failure or system failure. Visible changes, so kapag halimbawa nag-execute ng command or ng commit si user ng commit command, then the current state of the transaction becomes permanently visible. On the other hand, kapag naman rollback yung ating ginamit, so it can be visible to the viewers, but the current transactions may contain a wrong information. It may be also right. It depends. So again, ito yung pinakita ko sa inyo last time, the select. So ito po ay yung mga sinasabi nga natin ay for the data retrieval, which is the DML. Ito naman ay para sa data definition language, which is also for the commit. Ito naman ay para sa DCL, and this one are the transaction control. So this was also discussed to you last time. In the database schema, in the uh, user tawag dito, user side, this is the collection of logical structure of the data. Kasi sabi nga natin, dahil schema, ito yung isang halimbawa buong database, ipinapakita natin yung kanyang, the table, the indexes, the package, and its relationship with one another. It is owned by the database user, and it is also the same name as the user. Schema can be created and manipulated with the SQL using this or following this command, which is, of course, ito gamit na natin, select asterisk from what type of course, yung atin pong table, and then select user from DROM dual. So, later on, ating pag-uusapan, ano ba tong dual? Bakit may kailangang dual? And then, show user in SQL+. So, this is how you create a table. Define the table layout, table identifier, the column identifiers and data types, the column constraints, the values, integrity, and relational constraints. So, those are some of the layout of when we are going to create a table. So, this is how, or this is a command. Ito ay paulit-ulit na ninyong ginagawa. Ito yung ating command. Ito yung ating mga fields, yan, na inilalagay. These are the attributes of that table. Yan, ito yung mga attributes natin. Inilalagay natin kung anong klase. And of course, if you are going to describe, para saan yung describe, the describe is used to give us an overview of what the table is, or what is the content of the table, the field names and its data type, as well as the attributes. Of course, para saan ba ang data type? Gamit na natin to every now and then, that each value has a data type, kasi kailangan siya malagyan. Kasi for us to be able to determine ano ba talaga yung kinakailangan na function ni data type, or ni nung ating fields, no? It also defines the domain of values that each column can contain, and when you create a table, you must specify a data type for each of its column. It also defines a common set, that is the Oracle has set in built-in type, and of course, yung ating tinatawag na defined type. So, these are some of the examples of the data types that we can use, in creating our fields in the table, such as the ANSI data type, which is the integer in the Oracle. Ito naman yan siya, number. So, whatever data types that you want to use, of course, kailangan nating lagyan siya. No, halimbawa, kapag number, kailangan meron siyang size, and character and float. Of course, yung float with decimal number. Okay po? This is the select statement. So, this is the, kumbaga, yung atin pong, yung pong ating syntax, which is we can select on all distinct column, and then from the table where condition. So pansinin niyo, meron tayo nitong tinatawag natin na brackets, kasi ito ay itong brackets na to can be an optional, kasi may instances naman talaga na hindi tayo naglalagay ng ganitong mga condition, or yung group by, or having, or order by, depende sa pangangailangan natin. Alright. Next is the, of course, sabi ko nga, wait lang. Okay. Okay, so, sabi ko nga, this is the syntax, na pwede natin gamitan. Ito naman ay palagi naman ninyong ginagamit, or ngayon, gamit na natin siya. For the selecting or in selecting statement. So, these are some of the examples. Yan. Kumbaga, nagpapakita lang tayo from what type of table you're going to use, where, what type of, or where, what field names na kailangan siya ay nagkikita, may relationship, igino-group kung ano yung kailangan ma-group, having, some, and order by. So, I think, lahat naman ng ito ay inyo pong nagagamit or nagagawa na from time to time. So, in this case, dito sa ating command na ito, ay ito yung ipapakita niya sa atin. Kasi ang ginawa natin dito ay group natin yung department. So, the department name, ipinapakita natin dito. Tapos, yung salary niya ay atin pong isenam up. Tapos, ang ipapakita lang daw niya ay yung greater than 10,000. Kaya, as you can see dito, yung nakita natin ay yung greater than 10,000. And since pinakita natin, gusto natin ay naka-order, usually pag gumamit tayo ng order by, without indicating kung siya ay ascending or descending, the default is in ascending form. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, in order po yung ating department name. The insert, update, and delete, of course, ito naman ay inyo na ring nagagamit. So, may napapansin kayo dito sa ating table, dun sa ating command. Of course, di ba ito gamit nyo na, the insert into, yan, and then what type of table and what type of field names, and of course, yung ating mga values na ilalagay. But then again, you have this commit. Ito yun. Ito yung pinakita natin kanina, nasabi ko nga sa inyo, when we use the commit command, meaning it will be the one to, kumbaga ay parang magkaroon siya nung tinatawag natin na changes permanently. Kapag ginawa natin yun, permanent na yung changes na nilagay. Okay? The alter table, it modifies the name. The alter table, yan, ito yung kanyang function or syntax. We have the alter and then the table and then the table name. Pinapa-rename natin saan? So, bagong pangalan. So, itong rename ay pagbibigay natin ng bagong pangalan dun sa table. Yung modify naman, these are the modification, depende sa gusto nating ma-modify, such as kung gusto nating mag-add, kung gusto nating mag-rename ng table, kung gusto nating mag-drop. But also, the alter table can add, modify, or drop the constraints, the enable and disable constraints, and so, ano-ano ba yung mga constraints na sinasabi natin? So, mamaya, ipapakita natin ano-ano yung mga constraints na pwede nating magamit. The not null, not null function or not null command. Yan, ano ba yung function nito, para saan ito? So, later, meron din tayo nito. Ano po? The primary key, ayan, lagi nyo din itong gamit ninyo din ito. And the foreign key. Ito namang foreign key, mag-a-add lang naman tayo, kasi kinakailangan siya i-reference from one table to another using the primary key. Halimbawa, nabanggit ko nga sa inyo, itong table na ito last time, halimbawa, sabi ninyo ay meron ditong student ID at siya ay naka-primary key. Ito ay dun sa student table, yan. Tapos, dun sa inyong pinakang subject, enrolled subject, yan, na table. So, you have the subject enrolled ID. So, that will be your primary key. Pero, magkakaroon din dito ng student ID that will serve as your foreign key. All you have to do is to add, yan. Mag-a-add lang tayo ng foreign key papunta dun sa isang table na iyon. Kasi para maging reference natin from one table to another. So with this, ang mangyayari dito, itong table na to ay related one student to many enrolled subject. Alright, so erase ko muna. Yan. So, the constraints error, yan, ay makikita natin. So, error checking tayo. During this will be the checking, checking constraint. Ayan, may nakalagay violated insert, parent cannot found. So, may mga ganun kayo namang makikita during the run of your database or yung ating command. The SQL alter statement, ayan. The alter table statement is used to add, delete, what else? Or modify columns in existing table. The alter table statement is also used to add and drop various constraints in existing table. So, ano-ano ba yon? If we add to add column, yan, pag mag-a-add tayo ng column class, this will be your syntax. We have alter and then the table and the table name, add and then column and then the name of the data type. So, kapag gusto nating mag-add ng column to a certain table. So, like, this is an example, alter table, halimbawa, a customer, add email, kung ano yung kanyang data type, and then yung kanyang size. Mahalaga lang na malagyan natin siya nung word na add, for us to be able to add column. If we want to drop the column naman, hindi naman siya kailangan kasi, kunyari, nalagay ninyo dun sa the student information na idagdag ninyo yung information subject enrolled. Whereas meron kayong another table for the subject enrolled. So, anong gagawin ninyo? All you have to do is to use the drop column. It will delete the column in a table. Paano? Ito yung magiging syntax natin. So, we have alter, and then the table, and then table name, and then drop column, and you have to identify what column will you need to drop. Like for instance, ito yung example. Alter table and then customer and then drop column and then kung ano man yung inyong pangalan. Make sure lang na alam niyo yung pangalan nung column na i-delete niyo or i-drop niyo. Renaming the column, giving new name to this column kasi sabi niyo sobrang haba nung column na yun, nung halimbawa sabi niyo student name, ay gusto nyo gawin na stud name na lang or S name para mas madali yung pag-query. Kaya, kinakailangan natin gumawa or gumamit ng rename. Halimbawa, alter again, and then table and table name, rename, and then column, ano yung old name to, tapos lagyan nyo lang siya ng to, ito mahalaga yan, and then give it to the new name. Halimbawa, ito yun, rename, table, old, yan, to new column, yan. Alter or modify the data type. Halimbawa, nagkamali rin naman kayo ng data type. To change the data type of a column in a table, use the following syntax. Again, ito, mahalaga pa rin na mayroon tayong alter, and then column, and then name of the data type. Or the data type that you want to, modify. Halimbawa, modify column and then what data type you are going to use. SQL constraints. So, this can be specified when the table is created with create table statement after the table is created with alter statement. So, ito yung pinakita ko rin sa inyo kanina, right? Kung titingnan natin dun sa ating may constraints, balikan lang natin. Yan, sorry. Yan, ito yung mga constraints. Ito yung mga nandito na pinakita natin kanina. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so this is our syntax, create, and then table name, the column 1, the data type, and their constraints. So, the SQL constraints are used to specify the rules for the data in a table. The constraints are used to limit the data or the data type that can go into the table and ensures the accuracy and reliability of data in the table. Kapag walang violation na nangyari between the constraints and the data action, the action is, of course, aborted. Now, the following are the constraints commonly used in SQL. Kanina, di ba, may nakita kayo na null, etc. So, meron tayong not null that ensures the column cannot have a null value. Kapag naglagay tayo ng not null dun sa ating pinakang table or dun sa ating pinakang command, ibig sabihin, kailangan meron siyang value whether we like it or not. Unique, ibig sabihin that the columns should be different. Hindi siya papayag na merong ka pareho. It's the same as parang yung primary key. That's a combination of not null and unique that identifies each row in a table. The foreign key, on the other hand, prevents action that would destroy links between the table. The check ensures that the values in a column satisfies the specific condition, and the default sets a default value for a column if no value is, of course, specified. We tend to create index used to create and retrieve data from the database very quickly. So the null values, of course, it means that we have a special value which is unavailable, unassigned, unknown, or inapplicable. That is not equivalent to 0 or blank space. So, hindi pwede yung ganun. Kagaya dito, select asterisk from a type of table where ID is equal to 0 or select asterisk from where ID is null. Yan. It is often used as a default. Now, moving on with the dual table, kasi diba sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina ay anong tawag dito? Sabi ko sa inyo kanina ay meron tayong function for the dual table. So, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin natin ng dual table? Bakit kinakailangan tayo na gumagamit ng ganito? Now, sa SQL databases, the dual table serves as a unique purpose, primarily found in Oracle or any other related systems. And it has a special one row, one column table that doesn't actually store any data, but it is essential for performing types of queries and calculation. So, saan nga ba natin siya dapat gamitin? Gagamitin natin siya for testing expression, for generating constants, and simulating data. So, paano yung function natin or paano yung ginagawa natin for testing expression? The developers are often use the dual table to test SQL expression without querying a real table. So, hindi na kinakailangan ng yung real, parang nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag natin na dummy table. Halimbawa, if we want to check the result of a function or evaluating an arithmetic expression, we can use it by doing the dual. Kapag naman nag-generate tayo ng constants, it is handy for generating constant value like current timestamps. Yung timestamps ay di yung nakikita natin kapag meron siya doon na pinapakita yung date and time. Yan yung sinasabi na timestamps or other system-specific values. Simulating data dun sa mga scenarios when you need to generate a single row of dummy table or data is simulate as a result. Set for testing purposes, dual can be used effectively. So this is one of the examples of dual tables. A special one row table present by default in all the SQL or Oracle database installation. Accessible lahat siya sa user. Halimbawa, select sysdate from dual, ayan, and select from dual equal to show user in SQL+. Create really a big table in one command, so we just use this kind of function or command. Create and then yung table na yon as select truncation. Ito yung value, random integer from dual and connect by level by less than 100,000. Delete all rows from a table. What's the difference between delete from truncate? Anong ibig sabihin natin ng delete? Pag sinabi na ano ba yung DML versus DDL? So, yung commit ba is essential sa ang klase? 'Di ba? Nabanggit ko na sa inyo kanina kung anong ibig sabihin ng commit. Can we generate an undo segments which is more efficient? Ayan. Kapag truncate kasi, ibig sabihin nun parang may binabawas lang tayo. Kapag delete kasi, ibig sabihin nun, totally nire-remove natin. Ano? We have also the different types of joins. Yan. I think, alam ko naman na alam nyo na din to. Na-discuss na rin to most probably sa inyo. We have the equi-join, the non-equi-join, the outer join, and the self-join. Ano yung difference ng bawat isa sa kanila? Equi-join values in the two corresponding columns of different tables must be equal. Pareho dapat. Para ma-join natin yung halimbawa. Halimbawa, nilagay mo dun sa isang table ay mayroong name, may age, dun sa kabila dapat pareho. Kaya dapat siya ay equal. Non-equi-join, the relationship between the columns of the different table must be other than equal. Kasi pwedeng hindi siya equal or not. The outer join, which is in the form of left, right, or full, also the rows that do not satisfy the join condition. Pwede yan. Usually, ang outer join, ito yung lagi nating ginagamit when joining the two tables. Kasi parang fino-force natin yung integrity nung joining or nung relationship. The self-join is, of course, yung the table will be joining on itself. So, ito yung equi-join. Ito yung example. Ayan. Sabi nga natin, kung ano yung laman ng isang table, it must be equal. Pansinin ninyo, meron tayo nung employee department number at ito yung department number. Kung mapapansin ninyo, may 10, may 10. So, dapat ay pareho. Yan. Nagkakapareho siya. So, ito yun. Kagaya rin nito. So, nung siya'y tinali, nung siya'y nagpinagsama, natin siya, nung halimbawa magki-query tayo. So, si King, na may employee department number 10, ay nasa department ng accounting. Ito namang si Blake, na may nandun sa employee department number 30, na nasa department ng sales. Same with Clark. Yan. So, paano natin gagamitin? Of course, ganito lang ang ating gamit ng ating paggamit ng ating equi-join. We have to select ito ay parang giving alias, kasi tanam mo yung empty and depth, department D. Kaya pansin mo saan nanggaling yung D, so galing siya dito, parang giving alias. So, empt name, kasi kinakailangan nating maglagay ng alias pag nagjo-join tayo ng tables natin. Where, ayan, ito yung condition natin kung saan sila ay magjo-join, yan, department number to department number, and then order by employee name. Sa outer join naman, sabi nga natin, pwedeng siya ay pansinin ha, si outer join, sabi natin, the relationship between the columns of the different tables must be other than equal. So, pwedeng, sabi ko nga, hindi siya equal. Pero dapat nandoon siya. Kagaya nito, ito ay nakanal, ito ay nakanal. So, siya ba ay isinama dito? No. Kasi, alin lang yung magka-equal. So, ito lang siya, ito lang, and then this one, and then this one. So, ito, walang nakasama dito. Kung titingnan natin, si King nasa accounting, si Blake, dahil nakanal yung employee department, null na yung ipinakita sa kanya. Si Martin, na may 20, nandun siya sa operation. So, this is how you perform the outer join. Halos the same lang din naman, halos the same lang din dun sa atin pong ating equi-join, except that, nilalagyan lang natin siya dito. Kasi isinasama natin lahat. Okay? This join syntax and ANSI versus Oracle. So, equi-join, sabi natin, select, and then, yung ise-select natin from anong klaseng, saan table, And then, we have the inner join, kung anong department, saan natin siya i-join na tawag dito, saan natin siya i-join na field or field name. Okay? Sa Oracle, ganito din yung kanyang pwedeng gamitin. Yan. Ito most likely or most probably ang ginagamit natin kapag may SQL yung gamit natin. Kapag Oracle, ganito. Well, actually, pareho lang naman sila. Halos pareho lang sila ng syntax na ginagamit. Si Oracle and si MySQL ay halos pareho lang. Wala namang pagkakaiba. The outer join, ayan, right outer join, and then pinakita sa department saan, nung department nung isa. Sa Oracle, ganito na siya. Yan. So, I want you to take note of this para magamit natin dun sa mga susunod natin na hands-on. Advanced SQL queries, yan, subqueries, the correlated queries, the tawag dito, inline view queries, the top-end queries, and hierarchical queries. So, sa subqueries who works in the same department. So, yun yung mga different types of question. Kasi pag subqueries, ito yung mga parang kailangan natin sa mga reports na kakailanganin natin. Na kailangan nating ma-perform. Ito yung kailangan nating mga data na maipalabas kung kailangan ng isang department or ng isang ng isang tawag dito, ng isang kailangan natin ma-perform, The correlated subqueries, who are the employees that receive more than the average salary of their department. The inline views, what are the employees' salaries and the minimum salary in the department. So most probably, this could be in a performance of yung ating mga functions, like yung ating mga yung ating mga compute the top end queries, what are the five most well-paid employees, and the hierarchical queries, what is the hierarchy of management in my enterprise. The subquery is subquery is a query within a query, and it's used to answer the multiple part question. That it is fully support them in a sense that you can create subqueries within your SQL statements, and it can reside from your where clause, from the clause, or the select clause. Kung titingnan natin, ito yung ating syntax, ito yung subquery. Halimbawa, select, yun? Kung asterisk ba, certain field lang ba yung inyong gagamitin? Halimbawa, F-name, L-name, or a salary from what type of table or the inline view, where this is the subquery. That is the condition na ini-specified natin for us to have the result of the subqueries. These are the types. It could be the single row, the multiple row, and the multiple column. Who works in the same department as clerk? Siyempre, ganito yung gagawin natin na function or na command. So, select kung nasaan, where department is, and then ito yun. Who works in the same department as Clark or Blake? Ito yun naman yung ating gagamitin na command. Select, tapos yung isa-select mo, where, tapos the table, in, tapos meron kang ganito. Who works in the same department under the same boss as Clark? You can kumbaga ay parang pwede mo siyang i-capture for you to be able to have the guide later on as I gave you the hands-on performances. Po. So, correlated subqueries. So, each correlated subquery is a subquery that is evaluated for each row. So, pag sinabing row, ay di ito yung mga kakailangan na titingnan natin. Produced by the parent query. Like, for instance, which employee receive more than an average of the salary. So, ganito yung mangyayari sa kanya. Wait lang, tanggalin ko muna yung aking yan. So, this is the example, where select kung ano yung field mo na gusto mong ipa-select, and then sa ang table, where kung ano yung function na gusto mong makita. Kasi gusto mong makita ay sino yung mga employee na makaka-receive ng average salary of their department. So, ganito lang yung gagawin mo. We will be using the average function. Kasi di ba meron tayo ng mga different kinds of account, sum, average, minimum. Last time, nagka-minimum, maximum tayo. From anong klaseng employee or kung anong klaseng table, and then yung kanyang kaparehong fields. So in this case, the correlated subquery specifically computes for each employee the average salary from the employee's department. So ganito yung magiging example ng kanyang makikita natin na result. The inline views, an inline view is a subsequent subquery from a clause of an SQL just as if it was from the table, and it acts as a data source. Ito yung tanong, what are the employee salary and the minimal salary in their department? So, ganito yung magiging mangyayari sa kanya. We have ito yung ating select clause, and then after the select clause, we have from the dun sa ang klaseng table, and then ito yung atin pong gagamitin natin na yung sabi natin the minimal salary in the department. And then, of course, ito yung ating conditional clause, and gusto natin siyang ma-order by in descending order. So, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. So, pinakinuha kasi natin yung employee ID, the department ID, ito yun. The last name, ito yun, and salary. And then, kinuha natin yung minimum salary. So, paano natin nagawa yun? Ganito yung ginamit natin. Minimum, ito yung ginamit natin last time. Salary, and then minimum salary, and then department. From kung saan galing, i-group na lang natin by department. Po? Top N queries, we need to use the inline view together with the row, num, or the pseudo column. Gusto nating makita, what are the type 5 most well-paid employees. Ayan. So, ito yung ating ginamit or ginawang command. Kinuha na natin lahat. Galing saan? Of course, ito yun. Ise-select natin. Yung may sub tayo Kaya sabi natin subqueries. Select employee ID, the last name, employee ID, last name, and salary sa anong klaseng table. Tapos, in-order by natin ng descending. Pero, sabi natin, may pero tayo, row num is less than 6. Kaya kung titingnan natin, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows na nandito. What are the 5 next most well-paid employees? Ito naman yung ating gagamitin. Subquery. So, tinawag natin yung employee ID, employee last name, and then salary. Tapos, kapag nag-subquery tayo, gamitin nyo pa rin, tatawagin nyo pa rin doon. And then, si row number ay binigyan nyo ng alias na rnum. From employees, order by salary, there are num between 6 and 10. So, ibig sabihin ay ito lang, nandun sa 6 and 10 ang kanyang row number. The hierarchical queries, we have that the hierarchy, syempre, dahil hierarchy siya ay from top to bottom siya or bottom to top kasi kay hierarchy. Hierarchical query clause. So, we have this syntax, ayan, start with that condition and then specifies the starting point in the hierarchy. Halimbawa, connect by, yung child row and then the parent row. The parent row must be equal to the child row. With this, yung pseudo column level natin in hierarchy level. So, ito yung pwede nating gamitin. Yan, yung ating command. From level, yung level niya hanggang level 3. 0, 1, 2, less than or equal So, 0, 1, 2, 3. Start with the employee number na 100. Connect by prior. Ayan. So, ito yung magiging itsura niya. Kasi sabi natin, ang employee ID must start with 100. So, kaya naging mula dito. Level 1, 2, and 3. So, hierarchy natin, si King yung pinakamataas. Si Connor, Then, magkakapareho lang si Wallen, si Marvis, and Bayer. Kaya siya ay ang tawag sa kanya ay hierarchy. So, ito naman yung ginamit kasi natin dito ay 204. Mag-start siya sa 204. Ito yung bottom to top naman yung sabi ko sa inyo kanina. Analytical functions. So, the general syntax of analytical functions, we use the over here, and the different alias and from type of what type or what table should we need to have for the analytical function. We also use the window specification syntax by using the partition by and then the order by. Example for range specification to check for more than Oracle Docs. So we have this kind of range specification. Yan, ito yung mga window and the current window. The ordered analytical window, analytical functions applied sa lahat ng window natin. Lagi nating tatandaan that ordering inside the window is this one. Yan. Ito po yun. As cumulative from employee. Pansinin mo na ito yung, kumbaga, ay equal dito. The range specification, so pinapakita lang kung hanggang saan, from what up to what. Yan, ito yun. So, pagpapakita lang, cumulative again from, as cumulative from employee. So, pag sinabing cumulative, nag-a-add po talaga siya. Rows between current row and unbounded following. Ayan, ito po yung ating gamit na command. Okay? At ito naman yung ating pinagsama-sama. Kaya yun, 9,000, 24, 1742. Yan yun. Partitioned analytical window, ito yung gamit natin na function or command. Yan. Tapos ginamitan lang natin ng ating itong clause na partition by. Yan lang naman po yung pinakamahalaga diyan. Yan. Kinukuha niya kung alin dun yung kagaya nito dahil pinapartition niya by employee ID or manager ID. Yan. So, lahat ng 100 kinuha niya. Lahat ng 101 kinuha niya. Lahat ng 102 kinukuha niya. At lahat ng 103 ay kinukuha niya. So, these are some of the analytic functions we already done by using the maximum, minimum, I think, average, and count. Yung sum ay parang nagawa na rin natin last time. Plus the list of analytical functions that can be used for window queries, log, lead, first, last, first value, last value, the row number, and the dense rank. So, these are the references that you can use, that we used for today's discussion. So, I'll be giving you the hands-on activity for today and of course, the quiz para naman po inyo pong, kumbaga ay hands-on na lang muna, and kaya tayo ay sobrang, ang ating discussion is more on, kumbaga, mabilis na bibilis lang. Kung hindi naman matatapos ngayon yung hands-on exercises natin, pwede nyo naman sa mga susunod na araw natin i-submit. So, again, hindi pa po naman ako nagbubukas ng inyo or naglalagay ng mga activity doon. Pero sana kapag naglagay na ako, automatic na po tayo na makapag-upload ng ating mga kakailanganin sa ating hands-on po. Okay po? So, with that, let's have the activities for this afternoon.